الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على سيدنا وسندنا وحبيبنا وحبيب ربنا محمد المصطفى صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه. أما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: ولله العزة ولرسوله وللمؤمنين ولكن المنافقين لا يعلمون. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في شان حبيبه مخبرا وآمرا: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا رحمة للعالمين. Dear respected honorable Imam and Khutbah of this masjid, respected elders, my honored mothers and sisters who are listening, beloved younger brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Firstly, I would like to thank the Intizamiya and the A'immah who have invited somebody like myself to come and talk to you guys. So I'm here today to talk to you guys about a very, very important issue called respect. Now, the way I want to approach this is like this. When I inform you guys, or when this word respect is used, the first thing you think is street respect. You think, yeah, bear man's giving me respect. That's the way it is. Respect, bro. You know, you do spud. What do you call it? Spud? That's what you do. That's what you term as respect. But at your age, I don't blame you. You see, when I was growing up at that age, 15, 16, 17, I grew out of that very quickly. I didn't stay in that for too long. That wasn't, it didn't interest me. What the boys said, you know, flashy cars, none of that. That's just part-time. The way I see it is, what's the difference between a Vectra and a Porsche? It does the same job, takes you from A to B. The only difference is there's more, what do you call it? There's a spark to a Porsche. There's something about a Porsche that attracts you and makes you dream about it. How many of you guys dream about a Vectra? You never dream about Vectras, do you? Okay, when I grow up, I want a Vectra, I want to drive a Vectra. No, I want to grow up and I want to drive a Porsche Carrera, Porsche Cayenne, or a Lamborghini Murcielago. Cars like this. This is what you dream about. So, if this is how you think growing up, for me it didn't interest me. It wasn't something that pulled me to that direction. And then, as these are your aspirations as young lads, many of you here will be football fans. Football is deep-rooted within our system. You know, every kid that grows up in this country, you know, you ask him Manchester United, he knows what Manchester United is. He's so glued to the much of the day. You know, TV listings, he'll put it on record if you've got Sky Plus. And you will, whatever happens, you have to watch it. Football is deep-rooted in your system. So you grow up at this age, I don't blame you. It doesn't amaze me that this is how your life. These are normal things that I'm talking about. When you dig deeper, though it's a minority, though it's a very big minority, there are lads who are in bigger ponds and term themselves as big fishes. They do bigger stuff than what the average lad does, the normal lad does. And the key to all of this is, the way I see it is, you can have aspirations of becoming a footballer. You can have aspirations of wanting to go on Pop Idol and Britain's Got Talent and X Factor. You can have all these aspirations. You can have aspirations of being the big man on the street so everyone respects you. Aspirations of having all this dunya, this, what in our language called lalaj, this greed. You can have all this aspiration. But that lad who has this aspiration, but knows what respect is far better than a lad who has the very same aspirations, but does not respect nobody. It's a step in the right direction that he has adab within his system. And you know, respect, etiquettes, mannerism, different words can be used for this. In the Arabic language, adab, izzat. In our language, we call it izzat as well. How every parent aspires that his son give them respect by becoming a doctor and a lawyer, so that they can go to their family and say, mashallah, my son's a doctor, my son's a lawyer. That is very, very valuable respect. It's a good thing. That is you, I wouldn't say repaying back your parents. You're not repaying your parents back by giving them a degree. Because I believe you will never ever be able to repay your parents back. No matter how hard you try, what your mother went through carrying you for 9 months, your father never went through that. And what your father did, working those nights in the factories, in taxi, in high-level jobs, whatever jobs, to earn the money for you, your mother could never do that. Today the times have changed. You know, mashallah, sisters have become very independent as well. But talking about the general neutral nucleus that we have. When you take this all into consideration, you will never ever be able to repay back your parents. No matter how big and hard you think you are, you'll never be able to do that. But when you do get a degree, the satisfaction, no one feels it more than your parents. For them, it's a matter of respect now. They've got respect. But when I ask young lads, 15, 16-year-olds sitting here, brother, what's your aspiration? What do you want to be in life? Realistically, Imam Sahib, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to go to university, I want to do this, I want to do that. But what is your dream? You ask him, brother, what's your dream? And my dream is to be a bad man. I want to be known, I want respect on the street. I want ones to know me. And reality is this. We never chase reality, we always chase the dream. That's inherent nature of man. Whatever you dream about, that's what you're going to want to do. If you're always watching Tupac and Biggie, you're always watching gangster movies, you're always watching football, whatever you watch, that's what you dream about. You watch a chick flick movie, rom-com. Yeah, what do you think about that night? Your girlfriend. That's if you got one. Because why? That's the psychological effect this movie has on you. You watch a gangster movie, Tony Montana. And what do you think? I want to be like Scarface. I want to be a bad man. I want to earn money. Look how he earned money. He come off the boat, Colombian or Colombian, whichever he is. Got off the boat, nothing. By the end of the movie, the man's got everything. But you missed the point. What happened to him at the end of the movie? The very same house that he has, he got shot in it. Isn't that what the movie teaches you? You look at the glamorous side of that movie. You don't look at the message of that movie. In the end, what happened to Tony Montana? In that movie, he was shot. And look at the respect he had. He had respect. If we was to analyze this movie, he had respect. You know, when you have money, everyone chases you. Everyone wants you. They want a piece of that money. They will do everything. Even ones who are your enemies, they will go after you and say, yeah, sort of backhander out, man. Make me rich as well. Let me be part of your crew. Let me roll around with you. Let me drive your car. Let me be your best spot. See the rhyming? I didn't even prepare that. That's what Eminem does to you. So when you get this, you become his best spy, you drive around in his car and everything. You think, yeah, look, I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting the same respect as he's getting. What you don't realize is, what respect is he getting? You're growing up on the streets of Keighley and all you see around you is Chaudhry Saab's car. You see that car driving around, flashy cars, big motors, got the rims, he's got the exhaust system, he's got that bass in his car, window is down, tinted out, he's got boys with him, he rolls around in a crew. You see him in nightclubs and pubs, those of you who will understand. You think the man's got respect. You know why? Because everyone goes to him. Everybody goes towards him. You know, anything that looks attractive, it catches your eye. That's why you never dream of the Vectra. It's not attractive to you. What attracts you, you see, what Shaitan loves is you to destroy your heart, to destroy your intention through attraction. That's how Shaitan wants to destroy you. He makes things look glamorous. When you look at a girl, she just looks normal to you. What does Shaitan make you think? Banging. She's fit. Man alive. She's better than Angelina Jolie. Jolie is your dream. Reality is what you see around you. The sister's walking and you look at her and you think, yeah, look. There's an attraction to her. Maybe it's her hair, maybe it's the way she's done her eyes, maybe it's her lips, maybe it's what she's wearing, it's the perfume she's got on, the way she walks, the way she talks. Miss Independent. And you're laughing because you think, how does Imam know this? Don't worry, I don't listen to that no more. So you see, when you see that, you think, yeah, that's how I want it. What do you listen to? You know these faculties, your ears, your eyes, your heart, your mind. We abuse these faculties Allah Almighty has given us. In the Quran, Allah Almighty says, "Inna sam'a wal basara wal fu'ad." There will be questioned. You will be questioned about what you saw, what you hear, what your heart does. And look, this is amazing, isn't it? 30 years ago, ask these bazurgs. I'm pointing to Maulana, he's a young man. Ask these bazurgs. Ask them, 30 years ago, what was Facebook? Nothing. What was music? Nothing. What was a Porsche? Nothing. They didn't know none of this. In their time, there was no distraction. Their distraction was working hard, earning money, bringing family over, settling family down. This was their mission. They fulfilled their mission, settled down in this country, set up communities, Bangladeshi community, Pakistani community, Indian. Like these communities have been set. You guys are the next generation down, a couple of generations down. You have everything made for you. Amazing how Shaitan works, isn't it? It's then, in the 80s and 90s, Tupac and Biggie arose. Then 50 Cent followed him. Lloyd Banks followed him. Today, Drake is following him. And that system is continuing. The music gets even more attractive. It gets even more explicit. The beats get even better than before. Tiny Temper, you listen to him, you think, yeah, you move to his beat. What you're putting into your ears, the That's what you think now. All they ever talk about is what? Women, cars, bling, attraction. That's what they talk about. That's what you listen to. That's what you want to be. Have you noticed that? Today, you go to the London Underground, or you go onto any train or in the car. What does everybody have? There's a radio access in the cars. You have iPhones, iPods now. Everyone has one. Everybody wants one. Why is it every phone has an MP3 system inside it? They want you to download music, listen to music, put it into your ears. And then what do you know? What you see, you might think Imam said what you want about. That's the reality of what you're listening to. What you listen to goes into your mind, and then your definition of respect now. Let's go all the way back to the word that we want to talk about. Your definition of respect now is what you listen to. Your definition of respect is what you see. Whatever you see, that's how you term respect. Kids grow up, they see gangsters rolling around, plastic gangsters. You want to be like them. The attraction, that's what your heart wants. You know, when you've got a sad looking brother, he's got nothing on him. He doesn't wear flashy clothes, doesn't drive a flashy car. Would you ever go sit with him? Nah, man. I ain't gonna sit with him. There's no buzz about him. I don't get no halchal. There's no movement. I don't get nothing. He's boring. He's too dry for me. He's bland. I don't want to sit with him. I don't want to, it's true. Where there's a big crowd, where there's attraction, where there's noise, that's where you go. You think, yeah, that's what I want to be. That's just a norm in society. Where there's a minority and there's an attraction and noise, you know what, I want to be like that. That's what you aspire to. But where's the most noise? Where is the most noise? Nightclubs? Football stadiums? That's how we want to be at. Sadly, that's where we have our aspirations that I want to grow, I want to be like that. And your term of respect now, because remember the first question I began with, what was it? What do you define as respect? And it's what? Street respect, gangster life, chilling, money, drugs, alcohol, all these things. Cars, insurance fraud, mortgage fraud, all these things. When you take all this into consideration and you ask him, what's your respect for? What do you term as respect? Yeah, that's what I want. I want to be like that. That's how I want to roll. I want to be on that flex. I want to be on that vibe. People will look at me. People will give me respect. People will put their heads down to me. They'll say, yeah, this man's got it. He's got something about him. There is an aura about him. You know what covers him? What aura it is? It's called shaitani aura. That shaitan's effect on him. You look at him, there's shaitan written all over him. That's what's written on him. And you're attracted to that. You're attracted to that. It's what makes you think, yeah, I want to be like that. But how often when you look at a religious brother and say, I want to be like him. MashaAllah, he's my inspiration and aspiration. I want to be like him. So when you have this understanding of respect, you don't listen to your parents at home. You watch too much Simpsons. Bart Simpson doesn't listen to Homer. He doesn't. He calls his dad Homer, he doesn't call him dad. So what do? You go home, you start doing the same thing. What you watch, what you listen to, you don't realize it's a subconscious effect. You study psychology, there's conscious and then there's your subconscious. Subconsciously they have filled you with shaitan. When you think of a woman straight away you think dirty. When you think of music you think of dirt or romance. You will never think good because subconsciously you're corrupted. Your mind has been corrupted subconsciously. The Prophet ﷺ emphasized the conscience and emphasized the subconscious. Nabi ﷺ came and he changed the people's subconscious. That's why those Sahaba, Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in, they were subconsciously always connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They was always connected. Consciously they were always connected. So when you ask him, how are you going to go and get this respect now? This is your term of respect. Now I'm asking a lad who is thinking his respect is in the gangster life. He wants to roll around like this. Now ask him the question, how are you going to do it? I've got to chill with the bad boys. whatever they do, pick up, drop off, I've got to do. That's the only way that I will earn the respect. People will look at me. I'll have money. Today you have money, you have respect. The world we live in, you have money, you have respect. You have no money, nobody looks at you. True or not true? Very true. Biggest disease. The disease that's killed us is the greed for money. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam, they said, I do not fear my ummah will ever commit shirk. I do not fear my ummah will ever commit shirk. Just a point to bear in mind. Nabi alayhi salam said his ummah will never commit shirk. What do you say about those people who say you're mushrik? A Muslim calling another Muslim mushrik. You're contradicting the hadith of Rasulullah with your aqwal, your statements. Nabi alayhi salam said, my ummah will never commit shirk. I don't fear that. They will never return back to worshipping idols. They will never do that. So when you hear a brother say, Akhi, he's a mushrik, he's worshipping that grave, they're grave worshippers, then there's a big problem going on. And this is a sifa of the Khawarij. This is a sifa of a certain group of people. Anyhow, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, I do not fear my ummah will commit shirk. However, my worry is this, that they will fall in love with money. Tanafasu fil mal. They will start competing with one another in money. Greed will enter into their hearts. They want to be rich. They want money. The world we live in, it's all about money. Even though the currencies are collapsing, people still have time to go to shopping centers and spend. Amazing how they just influence your mind or way of thinking. Each day you have to have flashy clothes. Bro, you don't wear the right clothes, you don't have the look. You've got to have the Armani tops and the Lacoste bottoms, and you've got to have the Nicholas Deakin shoes, even though I don't think anyone wears them anymore. You've got to look good. It's Eid day. MashaAllah, no one says you don't need to look good. And you look like this. This is your term of respect. Again, you think you're going to earn respect like this? You think you're going to earn respect like this? So you ask him, how are you going to do it? I have to dress like that guy. I've got to walk like him. I have to talk like him. I've got to sit like him. I've got to spend my life like him. That is the way I want to be. I want to be like him. Really? Is that what you know you want to be? Do you know what you have to go through? You've got to live a dog's life. Ask a gangster how his life is. You think gangsters have it easy. You think their way of earning respect is easy. He can't go to sleep wondering, thinking the 5-0 is going to break down his door and arrest him. Ask a person like that. Why do you think you don't see them? They're hidden. You know, the ones that look glamorous, they're not the real gangsters. That's a deception to you. The real one, you don't even know who he is. The real one, you don't know who he is. He's not, they don't show themselves. They're so hidden, they don't want attention. When the 5-0 have their attention on him, they arrest him. They build up a CV against him, a criminal record against him. He's in the tabs, as they say. Do you want to be like that? Do you want to grow wanting your kids to be like that? Do you want to put that influence into your kids' life? Do you want your kids to think like that as well? So when you ask him, how do you want to do it? This is how. I'll walk like him, talk like him, do it like him. This is one hand. This is how our youth are thinking today. Muslim youth are thinking like this. This is what they think, yeah, that's the way I want to be. That's how I want to go about it. Some of them, they consider themselves successful. Their success only lies here. The one who's on that line, doing that thing, his success is only here. And it only lasts for a couple of days. It only lasts for a couple of days. Fir'aun, he had the very same philosophy and very same formula. He wanted to instill fear into the people's hearts. He wanted the attention, the limelight on him. He instilled fear into people's heart, and anyone who rejected him, he killed them. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, a sign of the day of judgment will be that somebody will be respected because they fear him. What do gangsters do? They put fear into your heart. You don't feel comfortable around a bad man. What do? That's how they fear. They fear him. He has a fear factor about him. You're scared for your family. criminals, people who are crime, they absorbed in crime. They're deep-rooted in crime. They put fear in your hearts. You can't go to sleep at night. When you have this kind of person, this is how you're growing up around you, to understand your society. Now, take this on one hand. Let's now bring this all the way to the other side. This is one extreme that I've spoken about, one way of life that somebody wants to live. Let's look at the other side now. You ask a brother, what do you want to be? Religious brother, hasn't been mashallah on the deen. What do you want to be? My goal, my aspiration is to be like my master Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What are you going to do? Why do you want to be like that? I've realized in my life that to earn real respect, to have true izzah, you have to attach yourself to one who has izzah.
Nare takbir, Nare takbir, Nare risala, Nare takbir.
Don't think you got the point. Maulana got the point. Who has the real izzah? And I can tell you what that is, but I'd rather go to the Quran. Let's ask the Quran, what is izzah? In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Indeed, izzat, respect, this is only for Allah Almighty. True respect is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lillahi, it's for Allah Almighty. إِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. It's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you live your life for Allah Almighty, what are you going to have? Respect. True respect. See, there's two ways of looking at respect. A shaitan's respect and the respect Allah Almighty gives you. Isn't that? Like, there's this great, this great battle between good versus evil, right versus wrong. This is how it is. Look how Fir'aun went about it. Look how Abu Jahl went about it. Look how Yazid went about it. Yazid wanted respect, so what did he need? He needed the hand of Imam Hussain. If I have Hussein's hand, alayhi salatu wasalam radiyallahu anhu, if I have Imam Hussein's hand, I've got the respect. But Imam Hussain, he said no. I will not let a tyrant handle my grandfather's religion. So Izzat lies with those who are sahiban Izzat. If Allah Almighty is the great, the one who is most respected, our God, our creator, cherisher, sustainer, provider to all. If that is this lab, his answer is, I've got to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I will have my respect. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you want my pleasure, you want my respect, وَتُعَزِّرُوهُ وَتُوَكِّرُوهُ وَتُصَبِّرُوهُ بُكْرَةً وَأَصِيلًا. Allah Almighty said in the Quran, when it came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَتُعَزِّرُوهُ, assist him, وَتُوَكِّرُوهُ, and respect him, وَتُصَبِّرُوهُ, and glorify Allah Almighty, بُكْرَةً وَأَصِيلًا, morning and night. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, my izzat is with my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can respect Allah Almighty, keep Allah Almighty happy, but if the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam isn't razi, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam isn't happy, then you've missed it. You've missed the entire point. You've missed everything. The point is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this world for the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. If Allah Almighty created this world for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then why are you taking him out of the picture alayhi salatu wasalam and trying to go direct? Why are you taking Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam out of the picture? So you want Allah Almighty's respect, you have to respect the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some brothers, sadly, they want the respect of Allah Almighty, but they don't want to go through the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Those who have gone through the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, their names live long till today, that even after 1400 years we remember them. So you need to respect Allah Almighty. To respect Allah Almighty, you have to respect the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because Allah Almighty commands you, وَتُوَكِّرُوهُ, respect him. honor him, venerate him, elevate him. You see, in this ayat of the Quran, Allah Almighty didn't say, do it this much or do it this much, this is the limit. This is common ayat. There is no limit to the respect for the Prophet ﷺ. There is no limit to that respect. And the best way for a young lad today to respect the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because we cannot stand there and catch the Prophet ﷺ's blessed water. That was unique to the Sahaba, that's what they used to do. We cannot stand there when Nabi ﷺ's head is being shaved. And Sahaba, Hazrat Abu Talha al-Ansari, radiyallahu anhu, he said, I stood whilst the halaq was shaving the Prophet's hair, I stood there catching each and every hair that came into it from the farm. And I did not let a hair of the Prophet touch the ground. You know, one of the delegates of the Quraysh messengers, when he came at the time of Hudaybiyah, I think his name is Uqba, or one of them, he came to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Sahil, that's his name, Sahil. Sahil. And when he came to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam as a delegate of the Quraysh at the time of Hudaybiyah, and when he observed, he looked at it, he's seen how. Now you want to know how to respect Allah Almighty, know how to respect the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You want to know how to respect the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, you've got to learn from the Sahaba, because they were the direct companions. Now how did the companions respect the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The Sahaba ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in, in the time of Sulh Hudaybiyah, at that time, when he entered into the court and he observed for 3 days, he sat with the Prophet ﷺ, talking, trying to come to an agreement between the Quraysh and the Muslims. When he went back, the leaders asked him, they said, you know, how are his companions like? How do they treat him? He said, I speak a qasam by Allah Almighty, I swear by Allah. Those companions are such that when he does wudu, when he's washing his body parts, the companions stand there to catch the Prophet ﷺ's water. They do not let a single drop of water hit the ground. When they do not let a single water drop hit the ground, they get this, and then they do barakah. They take barakah from this water and begin to wipe it on their faces and their bodies. And the companion who didn't get this water, he goes to the other companion, and Imam Bukhari used the word qatala. Qatala here meaning not killing, here meaning they would fight one another. Give me your hand, let me take the barakah. Your hand has touched the Prophet's water, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now let me have barakah from your hand. And then they would wipe on them. He said, when I seen this, at that time, the man Suhail, when he seen this, he goes, I seen such a people that when he tells them, when he begins to talk, they stop talking. When he addresses them, they look down, they do not even look at his face. They do not sit down before the Prophet ﷺ sits down. They do not stand up until Nabi ﷺ stands up. They are such a group of people, these companions, that whatever Nabi ﷺ tells them to do, the companions run towards that thing and they fight one another to do it. And he said, these are the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. Let me warn you in advance. If you want to have battle with these people, you want to fight them, they're willing to die for this messenger of Allah.
Allah, Nare Takbir, Nare Risala, Azmat Mustafa, Shan Mustafa.
They will die just to defend the Prophet ﷺ. He said, I've been to the courts of Caesar. I've sat with Najashi. I've sat with Caesar, Khusru of Persia, Rome. I've been in the grandest courts, the biggest courts that ever existed, the biggest empires. I've sat with them. But never have I seen any companions who respect their leader more than I see the companions of Nabi ﷺ respect our Prophet ﷺ. Never seen this. So to respect Nabi ﷺ, we can't do this now. We don't have that honor of. But how do we do it? I understand today that you 17, 18, 19-year-olds, how can you show your respect for Rasulullah ﷺ? you live your life like the Prophet ﷺ. Nabi ﷺ said, towards the end of time there will be a group in my ummah. There will be brothers, and the Prophet ﷺ used the word brothers here, not meaning brothers, because that I find blasphemous. We cannot term the Prophet ﷺ as our brother. In certain kutub it has written there, he's like our elder brother, ma'adallah. Nabi ﷺ is greater than a brother, he is Sardarul Anbiya, he is the leader of the Anbiya, alayhi salatu wasalam. Nabi ﷺ emphasizing a point, said that they will sacrifice everything just to have one glimpse at who I am. But they will never have seen me, they've never lived in my time. You know who Nabi ﷺ is talking about? You guys. Nabi ﷺ said towards the end of time there will be people, they will sacrifice everything just to take a look at me. You will do everything to look at Nabi ﷺ. That means you will accept the Prophet's life in your life. You will do what the Prophet ﷺ did, and then Nabi ﷺ will look into your life. You will have dreams about the Prophet ﷺ. Nabi ﷺ will come into your life, into your dreams, and you will visit them and give them salam. So you respect the Prophet ﷺ, you earn the respect of Allah Almighty. Allah Almighty does everything to please the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah Almighty did everything. وَلَا سَوْفَ يُؤْتِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. Soon Allah Almighty is going to give you so much, oh my messenger, so much Allah is going to give you that you're happy. Allah Almighty, we want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to please Allah Almighty. But Allah Almighty wants to please the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's amazing, that's beautiful. That's where our aqidah comes from. Anyhow, to respect the Prophet Islam, you have to respect the Sahaba. If you do not respect the Sahaba, if you are gustakh to the Sahaba, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Allah fi ashabi, la tattakhizuhum gharadan min ba'di, faman ahabbahum fabihubbi ahabbahum, waman abghadahum fabibughdi abghadahum, faman azahum faqad azani. One rawayat Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, that, oh Allah, my companions, لا تتخذوهم غرضا من بعدي, do not let them be target to anybody. فَمَنْ أَحَبَّهُمْ, whoever knows my companions, فَبِهُبِّي أَحَبَّهُمْ, they love my companions because they love me. That means every companion, that means Abu Bakr, Siddiq, Umar Farooq, Hazrat Usman, the Ummahatul Mu'mineen, the Azwaj of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. When you take this into consideration, that, oh Allah, my companions, whoever loves them, they love them because they love me. Whoever hates my companions, they hate them because they hate me. Whoever harms my companions, they harm them, they have harmed me. Whoever harms me, they're waging war against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you need to respect the companions to respect Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How can you respect Nabi alayhi salam? And Nabi alayhi salam said, my respect and love lies with the respect and love of my companions. You have to respect and love my companions. If you respect and love my companions, then you're doing something right. We are not those extreme people who swear at the companions. We are not them people. How can it be that you disrespect the companions of Rasulullah and you give preference to one companion? No. To us as Muslims, they're all great. Ashabi kal najum, my companions are like stars. فَبِأَيِّهُمْ اِقْتَدَيْتُمْ اِهْتَدَيْتُمْ. Whichever one of them you follow, you will be guided. Every companion is guidance. Every companion is a star, shining light. Whichever path you take of a companion, you get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you take this into consideration, that you have to respect the companions. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لَا تَصُبُّوا أَصْحَابِي. Do not swear at my companions. Do not disrespect my companions. So if you want to respect Allah Almighty, you want Allah Almighty to respect His Prophet. If you want to respect the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which all of you here sitting want to do, then you have to respect the companions. If you want to respect the companions, you have to respect the students of the companions, the tabi'un and atba'u tabi'un. You have to respect their students. The likes of Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, the likes of Ata ibn Abi Rabah, the likes of Hassan al-Basri, the likes of Imam Abu Hanifa, the likes of Imam Malik ibn Anas, the likes of the great Masruq, the great Mujahid ibn Jabr, the likes of the great Tawus ibn Kisan. These great A'imma who were students of Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Umar, you know, the likes of Ibrahim al-Nakhai, the student, Alqamah ibn Qais, Al-Ais al-Qarni, these great Jalil Qadr Tabi'un, you have to respect them. You have to consider their opinions. And then to respect them, you have to respect the generation after them. The likes of Imam Shafi'i, the likes of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the likes of the great Imam al-Bukhari, Imam al-Tirmizi, the great Imam Muslim ibn Hajjaj. You have to respect these ulama. Then after them, the likes of Abu Hassan al-Ashari, the likes of Imam al-Maturidi, Imam al-Nasafi, Imam Tuftazani. You have to continue like this throughout the ages. The likes of Imam Ghazali in the 4th and 5th century, Imam al-Nabawi, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, Fudayl ibn Iyad, Bishr al-Hafi. You have to respect these people. You know, when you sit with those people who are gustaf of the Sahaba and the ulama, no, akhi, we don't want this. We need something better than these. We want the Quran and the Sunnah. On Nadan, how will you understand the Quran and Sunnah if you take these out of the equation? How can you understand the Quran? You want to go direct? Yeah, read. I don't know Arabic. Game over. Game over. You don't know Arabic, why are you debating on the Quran? I'm talking because there's young lads here who will get themselves into such situations. You know, the access to Islamic knowledge is too easy now. Everyone is a great mujaddid. Everyone is mufti azam today. Everyone is ala hazrat now. Everyone thinks he's a, Bukhari level muhaddis and that. Yeah, akhi, I Bukhari. Yeah, where was Bukhari? Where was he born? I don't know. So what do you read his book for? You don't know where he was born. You do injustice to Imam Bukhari. You don't even know him. Do you understand the point I'm making? So to understand and respect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Rasul alayhi salam, the Sahaba, you've got to respect the ulama that have come through the generation. And the Prophet alayhi salam said the sign of the Day of Judgment will be that the people at the end of my ummah, latter time, they will begin to disrespect the scholars that came before them. That is exactly what is happening today. Yeah, you see, what's the opposite of respect? Disrespect. So they begin to disrespect. And you know, when a bad man, a lad who wants to go the gangster way, he wants respect, but what does he do? Disrespect everybody else. That's exactly what happens. He disses man. He doesn't respect them. But a man on the deen, a Muslim, a mu'min, he respects everything around him. Hatta he respects the animals. He respects flowers. He respects the creation of Allah Almighty. If you respect the creation of Allah Almighty's creation will respect you. It's simple, give and take. You respect me, I will respect you. You disrespect me, you think I'm going to sit down and take it from you. Ain't going to happen. The world we live in, it's not that principle. Hazrat Isa alayhi salam that turns the other cheek. He punches you, yeah brother, give me another one. That doesn't work today. You punch him, he punches you, you jump 2, 3 back at him as well. Yeah, you do one of those ones. That's how it works today, isn't it? Sadly, there's no rahmah, there's no sabr in our hearts. So when you respect the ulama, the sufiya, the awliya, you've got to work through the ages, you've got to work up. 1st century ulama, 2nd century ulama, 3rd century ulama, 4th century ulama, 5th century, 6th century, 7th century. You have respect for the a'imma. Sahiban ilm, those who have ilm, you respect them. Respect the ulama, respect your imams. When you know how to respect your imam, you will see everything. Today what happens is young youth think they know more than the imams. They think they're bigger than the imam. Allah Almighty has given the maqam to the imam. He's given respect to the imam. He is called the imam, not you. What did Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam? وَجْعَلْنِي لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. Allah, make me for those who are people of taqwa, an imam for them. Let me be a leader for them, a role model for them. That's the job of an imam, to be a leader, a role model. Somebody who leads by example the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So when you work down through the ages, see, now I'm still on the aspect of respect that a religious person has to earn the respect of Allah Almighty. We live in this world not to earn respect from people. For too long we are worried about what is he going to say, what is he going to say. Oh no, he's going to say this about me. Our families think like this, our parents think like this. It's not about what people think in the end. It's about pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You were sent to this dunya to please Him. If you were sent to this dunya to please man and that, then you're never going to get too far. It ends, there's a certain point where it will end. But when it comes to pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will go to the ends of the earth, you have to please Him. And how does it mean you please Him? Do you think if pleasing Him is reading one Jummah? Turn up on Jummah day, 1:30 right at the end, miss the khutbah, read 2 fard, you don't even have to do, he hasn't even done wudu properly. Do you think pleasing Allah Almighty is disrespecting your parents? Allah Almighty said, رِضَى رَبِّي فِي رِضَى الْوَالِدِ وَسَخَطُ رَبِّي فِي سَخَطِ الْوَالِدِ. The pleasure of Allah Almighty lies in the pleasure of of your parents, your father in particular. And the displeasure of Allah Almighty lies in the displeasure of your father. You're not allowed to diss your fathers. Don't disrespect them. Don't disrespect your mothers. What's happening today is that you think they're bigger. Because there's this, the Western world we live in, it gives us independence, man. Bro, I'm independent now. Yeah, I've got a car. I've got a degree. I'm independent. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. Really? You think you made it? How do you know? You made it in the dunya. In people's eyes, you've made it. What about in front of Allah Almighty, where do you stand? Do you ever think about what Allah thinks of you? Do you ever think about what Nabi Islam is going to think of you? What face are you going to show them on the day of judgment? If you want to go to Nabi Islam and you disrespect his companions, you have books for Hazrat Ali, you have hatred for Hazrat Abu Bakr and Hazrat Umar, what face are you going to? You're going to come to Nabi Islam and say, Ya Rasulullah, do shafa'at for me, intercede for me. Say, you read the kalima, but you disrespected Ali radiallahu anhu. You read the kalima, you disrespected Abu Bakr, Umar and Usman. We ain't those people. We're the moderate people, the Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. We respect all of them. We respect the Ummahatul Mu'mineen. We even respect the animals that these Sahaba rode on. That's how much respect we should have. You respect Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, you respect his city. You won't go to do Hajj and miss Medina. You do Hajj and you don't visit me. The Prophet said, whoever performs Hajj and doesn't visit me, faqad jafani, he's miserly. The man ain't got no respect. You go to Makkah Sharif and you miss the Prophet's city. How can one even how can you even comprehend that? I can't even imagine how people will go to Makkah Sharif, and I know so-called Muslims who claim themselves to be Muslim by reading the kalima. They have this sign of hypocrisy in their actions. There's munafiqat in their actions. So this respect has to continue throughout. Order from Allah Almighty. You want Allah Almighty to respect the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba, the Ulama, the A'imma, the Awliya, the Sufiya. And how do you know who they are? When you come to the masjid, you come to the imams, respect today's imams, then you will understand how to respect the imams of the past. If you respect the imams of the past and you don't know who your imam is, then there's a problem. Again, you see, you're trying to jump the queue. You learn your deen sitting in their feet. You learn your deen. Inna al-ulama warathatul anbiya. The ulama, the scholars of the ummah, these are the ones who have inherited from Rasulullah al-Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. So why are you missing today's imams? And I'm not telling you that I want you to. Other imams that come, respect them, give them honor. And then when you respect them, how will you know who an imam is? Let's go down now back to being 16 years old. You go to a masjid, 14, 13. You young lads go to mosque. You read the Quran, you learn how to read the Quran, don't you? You come to this masjid. Yeah? Don't be shy. You guys come to this mosque, don't you, to study? This masjid, other masajid you go to. If you don't know how to respect the imam of that mosque or your teacher, you've defeated the purpose of everything in life. And if you do not, and this is the golden point I want you to bear in mind, all this respect, it ends at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doesn't it? I started from the top, not from the bottom. If we start from the bottom, you know where it begins? It begins from who you were born to. Your parents. You respect your parents. Once you understood respecting your parents, you hold them in high esteem. You have adab for them. You love them. You respect them. You honor them. You kiss their hands and feet. You have this adab. You know, kissing the feet of your mother. Don't think of it as something derogatory. Nah, man, I ain't going down there. You'll kiss your girlfriend's hand and everything. True or not true? You'll do that. But when it comes to your mother, yeah, you know. Now, Mom, I'm grown up now. I'm a big boy. With your girlfriend, you want to prove you're a big boy by kissing her. Your mother, you don't do that. Mahadallah. How is it that you give more preference to your bird than you do to your mother and father? They give you everything. You respect them, then you will learn what respect for Rasulullah is. The Anbiya is, the Awliya is. You miss the point when you take all of these out. Sadly, today's youth have been brainwashed. And they come home and they say, you're wrong. You're a bid'ati, you're a mushrik. They do that. There's some people, sadly, Muslim youth, they go home and they accuse their parents of shirk. All their life they've been growing their parents up, and today you're calling them shirk. Now that hasn't understood the deen properly. He hasn't understood our religion. Our religion goes back to the basics, go way back down to the basics. So on one hand, I've explained to you how today's young lad, he wants to be a bad man. I can tell you how you can become a bad man. I could do a full speech on how to go out there and shot and everything. Not that I've ever done it. But I've just explained to you how to earn the respect of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is our goal. That's our aim. You're sitting here today for to earn the pleasure of Allah Almighty. To earn pleasure, respect comes within pleasure. You want to please Allah Almighty, respect Allah Almighty, respect His Prophet, and like this continue. So when you respect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you respect Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all this, then you will see that man has respect. But suddenly, nobody looks at that person anymore. They don't look at him. They don't think, he ain't got the, what's that, attraction. There's no attraction to him. You know why? For too long you've been watching movies, man. For too long you've been listening to music. For too long you've been living a gangster type life. Come out of that, come into the deen, and you will see. You will see what respect is. You begin to respect everything. You don't disrespect nobody. You care about people's feelings. When you're on that line, gangster line, you don't care about nobody's feelings. It's about me, bro. I'm number one. It's all about number one. True or not true? Tell me if it's true. That's how you think. You become so greedy. You think about yourself. You become self-centered, as they say. But a believer, subhanAllah, Nabi alayhi salam told us, a true believer is he that wants for his brother what he wants for himself. Gangsters, they're not true believers. They're not true believers. And why? Because a gangster only wants for himself. And what he wants for you is bad. He doesn't want good for you. But a true brother, Muslim, he wants good for you. Brother, read namaz. I'm not saying it because you read namaz for me, I'm saying it because you read for yourself. It's going to help you in the next world. Read your namaz. It's going to benefit you. Fast in the month of Ramadan. This is how you should live. And then, now, let's fast forward. One guy's life, the bad man gangster, the bad man who wants respect, his life is going easy. All the problems in this world are easy for him. His problem is getting caught up. He's got the money, he's got everything, girls, he's got the fame, the glory, he's got that respect. The other guy, you see that you got the bad lad and then you got the good lad. Sadly, he has to go out and earn a halal living. He has so much iman in Allah Almighty, he has to go and put hours shift. Then the bad man, he needs to shop 2 bags and he's made 115 a week. In a day, forget the week, a day. By the end of the week, he's got $1,000 in his pocket. And he's 22 years old, 23 years old. He's a shotter. That's how he earns his respect. He earns his respect how? By killing people, by giving them drugs. But the good lad, he has to go out there and go through the hardship of this world. Go through the hardship. But the bad one, he doesn't need to go through no hardship. It's all easy for him. Yeah, probably made it. So when you take all this into consideration, life's going on, Allah guides the bad man, but when he gets to his deathbed, what happens to him? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, sometimes the angel of death takes your soul. You know, when he takes it from a bad person, you know how he takes the soul? It's like, you know, a log. You get a long piece of wood, put barbed wire around it. Yeah? Put it into cotton wool. And when you take it out of cotton wool, what happens to the wool? It follows with it, doesn't it? The strings is ripped out of him. Yeah? That's how the angel of death takes a guy's soul who has lived his entire life in sin. That's why when you see them die, they take that breath. Because he's ripped it out of him like this. That's how the angel, Nabi Sallallahu told us how the angel of death will take your soul. Malakul Maut. But you know, and you know how he appears to him? He appears to him, that very famous story, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, the angel of death came to him. And he said, how did Allah Almighty create you? He said, Ibrahim alayhi salam, you're a messenger of Allah. You do not want to see my original creation, how I was created. He said, no, please show me. He said, you will not be able to handle it. He said, show me. He said, okay, you want to see how I am? He came, the angel of death came to Ibrahim alayhi salam in his original form that Allah created him. Because for good people, the angel of death comes with beautiful fragrance, beautiful clothing, beautiful look, noor upon him. He said, you know how Allah really created me? He was dark, you know, he was dirty, there was steam coming out of him, he had rods in his hand. He said, this is how Allah created me. And Ibrahim alayhi salam felt unconscious, he couldn't handle how he looked. And when he couldn't handle this, when he regained consciousness, he said, just looking at you in your original state will be a big enough punishment than the punishment of the grave. Forget the grave, just seeing you in your original state. And the angel of death appears to those who live their life in sin, Muslim or non-Muslim, like this. That's why when you see a guy die, he's in shock. What has he seen? But Nabi Islam said, this is a bad man's death. He might die in a pub, he might die in a club. He might die selling, shotting weed, having sexual intercourse, haram, adultery, fornication. This is how a bad man would die. Because all his life, what did he want? What did he want? He wanted respect. See, there's one lad, you know what, I've done my job today. You know why? Because I asked that question right now. This young lad with the Liverpool shirt, he gave the right answer. I said, what does he want? What does the bad man want? He wants respect. How does he want respect? In the wrong way. He wants to go about the wrong way to get the respect. I've done my job today, inshallah, because he was listening. The rest of you, I don't know whether you guys are listening or it's entertainment for you. I know I'm not only Jalili on, live at the Apollo or Lee Evans. I can't give you that, but what my job is to help you guys, paint the picture to you. Now, this is the angel of death when he appears for the bad guy, for the good person. The angel of death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanallah, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَيُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِالْقَوْلِ الثَّابِتِ. That in the grave, Allah Almighty will make them, those who have iman, they will be firm. They will know the answers to give to the angel of death and the answers to Munkar and Nakir in the grave. When this person, the good person, when he's about to die, a group of angels come to visit him. Nabi Sallam said, before a person dies, his soul is taken to the place he's going to live. And the soul is taken out of him, the good person, before he dies. And it's shown its place in paradise. And the angels wait for him and say, oh beautiful soul, nafsul mutma'inna, oh satisfied soul, mashallah. Welcome, this is where you will be resting in the next world. Then he returns back to him and the angel of death comes and takes his soul from his life. And with these kind of people, the good people, there's a fragrance that comes from them. You see smiles on their face, noor on their face. You go to their grave, you go to Hazrat Sulaiman al-Jazuli, the one who wrote Dala'il al-Khayrat. They say you go to his grave in Masr, in Egypt, and there is a fragrance of musk that comes from this. This is a man who lived his entire life for the salawat of the Prophet ﷺ. for the respect of the Prophet ﷺ. This is how they remain. When you get this person, good man, when he dies, he sees the angel of death in a beautiful form. And the angel, you know how the Prophet ﷺ said, you know how the angel will take his soul out? You know how you pour water into a glass? So smooth. That's how the angel of death will take the soul out of him, smoothly. And it will come out of his mouth. Nice and smooth. And he's resting there peacefully. This is a good man's death. Look how a bad man died. You know why good people die? They die in the position of sujood. They die in the masjid. They die in good places. They die, there's something lives of them. And then you will only know, now this is the key point. I've looked at it from the beginning, when you're growing up, your aspirations, good man, bad man, two sides of the story. He's died now. A bad man's death, a gangster's death, how many people turn out to it? How often do people visit his grave? 2 days, 3 days, 4th day, the boys that he used to roll around with, nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Now, this is his death. This is what happens to a guy who wanted respect on the dunya, wanted people to rate him. The one who wants Allah Almighty to rate him and respect him. And the Prophet ﷺ, they always visiting that person's grave. Killer point here is this. Data Ali Bujwiri, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. Data Sahib rahmatullahi alayh in Zahor. He's such a great wali of Allah Almighty that 24 hours, 7 days a week, there are people visiting his grave. Imam Ahmad Raza Khan, ala Hazrat Azim al-Barkat, Mujaddid al-Din al-Millah. Shah Ahmad Raza Khan, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. Hundreds go to visit his grave. Imam Ghazali, hundreds go to visit his grave. Imam Suyuti, 100 goes to visit grave. That's a sign that these people have been respected by Allah, because when Allah Almighty loves you, when you live your whole life remembering Him, Allah Almighty will continue your remembrance till the day of judgment. People will remember you and say, you know what, he was a good guy. He was a top man. And who is remembered the most? Our Master Sayyidina Mohammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because Allah Almighty said, Habib alayhi salatu wasalam, Nabi alayhi salam said, every morning Allah Almighty sends 70,000 angels to my grave. Every evening 70,000 angels come to my grave. You know when Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal was buried, it's recorded in Siru A'lam al-Nubala of Imam al-Zahabi. He narrates that when Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi radiyallahu anhu, the great mujaddid and the great mujtahid mutlaq, great reviver, great founder of the Hanabila school of thought, of fiqh. They said when he died, you know how much respect he earned? How much respect? They said when Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi died, when he entered into the grave, that graveyard people were buried in, everyone's azab-e-qabr stopped and everyone was rewarded with pardon. This was a man who is respected. Imam Ahmad, that till today people respect Imam Ahmad, they follow his deen. They follow his way. This is amazing. This is what you want to be. You want people to remember you for good things. Sadly, we remember the bad people. How if I ask you to name me 10 companions right now, you can't do it. If I ask you to name me Manchester United starting lineup, you'll start with David De Gea and you will end with Javier Hernandez, Chicharito. You know who he is? You don't know who, the great Sahil ibn Abdullah al-Tustari is. You do not know who Bahauddin Naqshband is. You don't know who Mainuddin Chishti Ajmeri is. You don't know who Data Ali Bujwiri is. You don't know these people, but you know the bad ones. You ask the top 10 rappers in the world, man, he'll rap it to you. He won't tell you. That's how much he listens to them. So when that person dies, when he leaves this dunya, the good person, this is how he lives. He's remembered till Qiyamah. Allah Almighty continues his remembrance. The bad man, like he enters prison, when he enters into that cell, who remembers him? Nobody. 2, 3 days, 4th day, nobody wants to, bro, I don't have time to visit you. The good people, Allah Almighty remembers them. The Prophet ﷺ remembered them. So this is what we want to achieve. This is what you should aspire to be. Good Muslim brothers in living in the 21st century, the Western world. Representing Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We are not those type of Muslims who take the Prophet ﷺ and everything and try to go for direct respect. Allah Almighty says, you want my respect? Respect my Prophet first. Respect his companions. The Prophet said, you want my respect? Respect my companions. And you want the companions' respect? You respect the ulama and the awliya that have come. And that all begins here. And then you respect your parents, then you will understand respect of everything in life. But if you don't respect your parents, which today is the case, then you want to go out there and you want mans to respect you for your degree, and you want mans to respect you for your car that you're driving, you want mans to respect you for the drugs and that, nobody's going to respect you. For 2 days it lasts. For 2 days, man, you know who you are. Yeah, the high flyer. Third day, they forget who you are. They'll find somebody else to run behind and chase him. But the people of Allah Almighty, till Qiyamah, people visit them and chase them. That's an alam, that is a sign that Allah has accepted that person. Because people still remember him. And who is the most remembered? Then after Allah Almighty, you are the most honored and elevated and venerated one. The story as simple as that. That's how simple it is. You respect the Prophet ﷺ, you have everything in your life. You disrespect Nabi ﷺ, then you will be, even though you read the kalima, nothing will come of you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all tawfiq to respect Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, respect our parents, respect our elders, respect our youngsters, respect animals, respect society, respect buildings, don't graffiti buildings. Allah Almighty give us respect of everything around us, and you will see that the creation of Allah Almighty will respect you. And I finish with one beautiful point for this. A great wali of Allah Almighty, one of the contemporaries of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, his name is Sayyidina Imam al-Bishr al-Hafi. Bishr al-Hafi was a Sufi type person. He was a Muhaddis Azam. He was a great Imam of Hadith. But he chose the path of Ibadah, worship. Bishr al-Hafi, remember this name, Bishr al-Hafi. Sayyidina Bishr al-Hafi, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, was given the title al-Hafi. And al-Hafi in the Arabic language means barefooted. He never used to wear any shoes on his feet, slippers, nothing. This is an example when you respect Allah's creation respects you. When Bishr Hafi did his sabab tawbah and came on the deen, reverted back to Islam in his actions and everything. From that day onwards, he never wore anything on his feet. To such an extent that wherever Bishr Hafi walked, no animal ever urinated or excreted. When Bishr Hafi was asked, why don't you wear anything on your feet? He said, this is my respect for Allah's creation, the earth. And one day two great walis were walking together. And they said, they're walking in the streets of Baghdad, and they said, we find dogs urine here. That can only mean one thing, that Bishr Hafi has died. Because when he was alive in the world, no dog, no animal ever urinated where Bishr Hafi used to walk. So if this is how much Bishr Hafi respected Allah's creation, then dogs respected Bishr Hafi. They never urinated, they never walked in front of Bishr Hafi. So this is what we want to achieve and aspire. We want to respect Allah's creation. That doesn't mean go start walking barefooted now. We can't be like them. They're too great for us. But that means you respect your street. The Prophet ﷺ said, what is the lowest grade of Iman? That when you see something harmful in the street, you pick it up, you throw it away so it doesn't harm your brother that's going to walk past after. That's Iman. Not throw rubbish in the street so it harms them. Nabi ﷺ, look after, don't graffiti buildings, don't write on buildings, respect the Quran, respect your Islamic books, respect your brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, respect, and you'll see Allah will give respect to you. And one more I'll give you of Hazrat Umar bin al-Khattab. Nabi ﷺ said, oh Umar, every single shaitan is scared of you, fears you. And every single angel respects and honors you. That when you walk, every angel stands with adab. And when you walk, every shaitan runs a mile. This is what you want to be like. You want mans, you want the angels to follow you. You don't want shaitan to be in your blood and think you're some blood and that. You know what I mean? Blood. So Allah give us tawfiq to act upon what I've said. Give me tawfiq to act upon what I said. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم